Welcome to Cardboard Content, where we aim to develop our skills and grow the competitive Commander community. Hey guys, it's me, Benedict. Thank you for joining me here on Game 3 of Darkside Durby. Are you guys into, getting your sketch pad out and drawing? If you guys are, you're going to enjoy this match. But before that, I have other social medias, mainly TikTok and YouTube Shorts. You're already here on YouTube, so go ahead and jump on there to TikTok and give me a follow and like, and check out my shorts. I've been doing a decent effort of trying to post as much as I could, at least once a day. It's my goal from here on out. So without further ado, here is that game. Starting in the lower right hand corner, we have Sebastian back with Inalla, starting hand of 7. Then we have Sergio with RogSi, starting hand of 7. Tyler R with Atraxa, starting hand of 7. And then we have Daxin back with Glarb, starting hand of 7. Sebastian starts us off with the Underground Sea into a Chromox, pitching a Lively Dirge. We move on to Sergio's turn. He plays a Wooded Foothills and then passes turn. Tyler shocks in a Hallowed Fountain, then casts Esper Sentinel, then casts Mox Opal, passes turn to Dax. Daxin plays a Misty Rainforest, cracks it and puts a Breeding Pool into play, shocks it in, and then casts the Lighted Halfling. On Daxin's end step, Sebastian casts Vampiric Tutor, triggering Esper Sentinel. Sebastian pays. We'll move on to Sebastian's second turn. He plays Island, then casts Rhystic Study, triggers Esper Sentinel. Tyler draws. On Sebastian's end step, Sergio cracks his fetch for a tapped Steam Vents. On Sergio's turn, he casts his commander Rogak into a Phyrexian Tower, then casts his own Rhystic Study, triggering Esper Sentinel and Rhystic Study. They both draw. We move on to Tyler's turn. He moves into combat and attacks Sergio for 1. Tyler misses his land drop. We move into cleanup and discards a Tainted Pact. Daxin shocks in a Watery Grave, then plays his commander Glarb, triggering both Rhystic Studies. They both draw. We move on to Sebastian shocks in a Blood Crypt and then passes the turn. We move on to Sergio's turn and move straight into discard and discarding Red Aflame. We move on to Tyler's turn and he plays Cavern of Souls, then casts Lotho, triggers Rhystics, and they both draw. Move on to Daxin's turn. He plays Island off the top of his deck, surveils with Glarb, keeps 1 on top, and bins Demonic Consultation. We move on to Sebastian's fourth turn, and he plays Mystic Remora, triggers Rhystic Study and Esper Sentinel. They both draw. Then he casts Imperial Seal, triggering Rhystic Study and Lotho. Tyler responds with Archivist of Ogma, which triggers both Rhystic Studies, and they both draw again. We move on to Sergio's turn. He casts Copy Enchantment, chooses Rhystic Study, and then triggers Rhystic Study and Esper Sentinel. We move on to Tyler's turn. He casts Arcane Signet, triggers 3 Rhystic Studies and a Mystic Remora. Everyone draws. Then he casts Carpet of Flowers, triggers 3 Rhystic Studies and a Mystic Remora again, and triggers his Lotho. Sergio responds with a Mental Misstep on the Carpet of Flowers, which triggers Esper Sentinel, Rhystic Study, and Mystic Remora. Tyler casts Delighted Halfling, triggers the Rhystic Studies. Everyone draws again. Then Tyler passes to Daxin. Daxin surveils with Glarb, pitches a Vampiric Tutor and a Bloom Tender, plays a Boseiju, then casts Calling Ritual, triggers Rhystic, Mystic, 2 more Rhystic Studies, and a Esper Sentinel. Tyler responds with a Silence, triggers the Rhystics and the Mystic. Everyone draws. Daxin responds back with a Fierce Guardianship, again triggering all Rhystics and Mystic, and Lotho. Fierce Guardianship counters Silence, and then Tyler casts Noxious Revival, targeting Silence, which triggers Rhystic, Mystic, Rhystic, and then Culling Ritual resolves, netting Daxin 10 mana, 5 black and 5 green. Then Daxin casts No One Left Behind, brings back Bloom Tender, and he pays for all the Rhystic triggers. On Daxin's end step, Sebastian casts Entomb and bins a Scholar of Ages. On Sebastian's turn, he plays a Morphic Pool, then casts Rite of Flame, which gets 3 mana thanks to Sergio's Rite of Flame, but also triggers 2 Rhystic Studies. Then Sebastian casts Soul Ring, triggers both Rhystics. Then he casts Spellseeker, triggering both Ristics again. Sergio responds with a Pact of Negation, triggering Ristic Study. Sebastian responds back with a Pact of Negation, triggering both Ristic Studies again. Daxon responds back with a Force of Will, pitching a Chain of Vapor, targeting Spellseeker and triggering all the Ristics. Sebastian floats a black mana and then casts Daze, targeting Daxon's Force of Will and triggering both Ristic Studies. Pact of Negation resolves, countering Sergio's Pact. Then Sergio responds with Force of Will, targeting Spellseeker, triggers Ristic Study. Sebastian responds back by casting Snap, targeting Glarb, which triggers both Ristic Studies. Sergio draws. Then Sebastian casts Flusterstorm, targeting Force of Will and triggering the Ristics again. Flusterstorm resolves and Spellseeker resolves. Triggers Inalla. With the Spellseeker trigger, Sebastian tutors up a Culling of the Weak and then casts Culling of the Weak, which triggers Ristic Study. Sergio draws and then uses one of the black mana to pay for the Inalla trigger, which gets Sebastian another Spellseeker trigger. This one gets Reanimate. Sebastian casts Reanimate, targeting the Scholar of Ages, which triggers 2 Ristic Studies and gets another Inalla trigger. With Scholar's ETB, he chooses Entomb and Culling of the Weak. He brings back Entomb and Culling of the Weak, then uses Culling of the Weak on Scholar of Ages, triggering both Ristic Studies. Sebastian casts Entomb, triggering both Ristic Studies to put a Burnt Offering into the graveyard. Sebastian resolves the second Inalla trigger, copying Scholar of Ages, which gets back a Flusterstorm and Burnt Offering. Then Sebastian casts a Shallow Grave, bringing back Scholar of the Ages, which triggers both Ristic Studies. Scholar of Ages comes in, triggers Inalla, and Sebastian brings back Pact of Negation and Shallow Grave. Sebastian casts Burnt Offering, sacrificing Scholar and triggering both Ristic Studies. He uses another black mana and gets another Scholar of Ages ETB and brings back Entomb and Burnt Offering. He recasts Shallow Grave, bringing back Scholar of the Ages, triggering both Ristic Studies. This time Sergio responds back with Mindbreak Trap, triggering Ristic Study. Sebastian responds back with a Pact of Negation. With Burnt Offering, Inalla, Thassa's Oracle, and Scholar of the Ages, at this point Sebastian will be able to loop infinite triggers, get infinite Scholar of the Ages, or whatever wizard he chooses, and proceed to get a lot of blue devotion more than his deck. Good job, Sebastian. Good job, Sebastian, for drawing it out there at the very end. There was a lot of drawing in this game. 3 Ristic Studies at Mystic Remora, Esper Sentinel. It was a lot of triggers and a lot of things being casted in between turns, after turns, at end step. It was a lot of interaction. But truthfully, these guys were top seed and they already drew into the round. So the guys didn't really need to play, but they ended up giving you guys a show, which was a crazy one at that. Comment down below if you'd like me to still go over these videos or skip on to the next round. I'd like you guys' feedback on that. No end game summation because the game didn't really count. Daxon, if he didn't cast that Culling Ritual, Tyler could have held back his silence for Sebastian, and then they would have had a bit more interaction for Sebastian there. But even if Sebastian got stopped, Sergio had half his deck in his hand, so the game would have probably ended on Sergio's turn. If you liked this type of cEDH content, please give it a like, share it, post it on your favorite Discord server, share it on your other social medias. I'm trying to grow the channel and it would do a lot of help for me. What also does a lot of help for me is these guys supporting me. My patrons, starting off with content consumers, my tier 2, Big Yoda, Marcus, Dylan, Troy, Rodrigo, and Gwendolyn. Moving on to our tier 3 cardboard cutouts, we have Wong, Matt, Albert, and Joyner. If you'd like to support the channel, please head on to patreon.com/cardboardcontent. See you guys next round for more content.